Do you mind if I talk?
Not if you sit still.
I get so drowsy after dinner if I can't have a chat. I shouldn't have tried that second helping of custard. Now it's sitting on my stomach. You like custard, don't you?
I do. I like it soft and sweet and tasty.
Yes, we know your little weaknesses. It wasn't made for me, you know. I can't digest the stuff. Yet, fat lot my mother cares. It was all for you. You're her pet. Isn't he, Therese?
Don't listen to him, Laurent. It was him who said you liked vanilla custard, and Therese who covered it in caster sugar.
You're an egoist, Mama.
An egoist? Me?
She is. She only likes you because you come from her own hometown, from Vernon. Do you remember when we were boys? I used to have to share my pocket money with you.
Spent all yours on apple.
And you bought a penknife. And then years and years and not a word. You might have fallen off the face of the earth for all I knew. Can you see all right?
Not well. I want to finish.
Oh, how they drag on these summer evenings. I wanted you to paint me in sunlight. I could be standing against some brilliant landscape. Then you wouldn't have to be painting dreary grey on grey. You know, I wouldn't have thought this sitting still as doing my stomach any favors.
You won't have to do it again.
We get the sunlight in the mornings. Just a touch. Reflected against the opposite wall. Makes the place a little less depressing. It was my mother's idea to bury us here. God, just look at the place. Damp, dark, it smells. It's like living in a freshly dug grave.
It's as good a place as any for a shop.
Yeah, well, the shop. Well, I don't go down there. That's ladies' business. Gives them something to think about.
The apartment's comfortable enough?
It is not. There's my mother's room, and this, a sort of eating, sleeping, everything else room. The kitchen's a black hole the size of a cupboard. Nothing closes properly. We sit here freezing. And at night there's a hurricane blowing in from that door there.
Don't grumble. It was you who wanted to come to Paris.
Yeah, well, you might have picked a shop in a street with people walking up and down. I mean, at least then I could sit in the window and watch the cabs go by. I mean, what happens here? I open the shutters and all I can see is a vast grey wall. Even the windows in Vernon had more to offer.
Well, we can always go back whenever you want.
Oh, for God's sake, no. Not now that I've met Laurent. Besides, I'm only here at night. And what does it matter if it's like living in a freshly dug grave? You feel at home in it, that's what counts.
Then don't be rude about it. Oh, shop, Therese. Will you go down? I'm...
Yeah, it's a damned unhealthy street, whatever she says. I'll be down with pneumonia next. I have no resistance, not like you. Can't I rest for a while? My arm has gone numb.
I'm nearly finished.
Yeah, well, too late. I can't wait. Oh, stretch my leg. I don't know how my wife can just sit there like that. Still as a post for hours and hours. Makes one want to slap her. Doesn't it just drive you crazy, Laurent, for sitting so close to us? Wake up! Enjoying yourself?
Yes.
Good. It's nice to know the animals aren't in pain. Her father, you know, arrived in Vernon with a baby in his arms. And he planted it on my mother, and that was her. And even then she had those huge, black, staring eyes. I was terrified of her. I was terrified of him, too. But not for long, because he promptly returned to Algeria and died there. And she grew up with us. And that's so, Therese.
Yes.
Yeah, you wear out your tongue chatting away like that, my darling. Good girl. Not a cross word between us since the day we married. You're not sulking, are you?
No.
I need 10 more minutes. Head to the left. That's it. Don't move.
Is your father still alive?
Presumably. He doesn't write, nor I to him. We ignore each other.
You are his son.
He's got his own ideas. He wanted me to be a lawyer. Thought it would be useful, which it would to him. He's always suing his next-door neighbors. So he sent me to college. I stayed with a friend who was a painter. We got up late, spent the day hanging around his studio, smoking, drinking, never attending lectures. When he found out, he cut off my allowance. Could never have stood it being a lawyer.
Wouldn't one have a certain status? And it's very well paid.
It'd be too dull. So I took up painting, religious pictures, icons, altars. The money wasn't any good, so I chucked it in. That's when I took the job in the office.
Lucky for me you did, or we'd never have met. Still, you ought to have stuck with the painting. You might have awards by now.
Nah, it only suited me because it's fun in a way, and you don't have to work too hard. Mind you, when the office gets too boring to bear, I close my eyes and dream I'm back in the studio. It was a divan there I slept in the afternoons. Quite a libidinous item.
Oh, artist models. And did they...
They did. There was one, a blonde with a clear white skin, huge hips. You've chased your wife away.
She wasn't listening. It's way above her head. I mean, she's far from bright. She's good at looking after me when I'm not well. Herb teas, that sort of thing. My mother taught her.
She doesn't seem to like me very much.
Female foibles, pay no attention. Oh, aren't you finished yet?
Yes. Get up.
You're finished? Really finished?
All but a frame.
What a stunner! Mama! Therese, come and look! My picture's finished!
Is it finished?
Yes, look!
Oh. Oh. Oh, Therese, look. Look at the mouth. What an impressive mouth it is.
The suit is superb. I mean, just look at it. It's only been worn 4 times.
And the armrest.
Yeah, that's a real walnut. That's my personal armchair. We brought it from Vernon.
What's that there? Under the eye.
It's a shadow.
Oh.
I might have preferred it without. Still, aren't I distinguished?
Oh, Laurent, dear boy, how can we thank you? And Camille hasn't even paid you for the paint.
I should pay him for his time.
No, that's not good enough. We'll get a bottle of something. We'll drink to the masterpiece.
Yes.
Why not? I'll go out and get the frame.
What now?
Oh, yes. It's Thursday evening. Your guests will be here for the game of dominoes. We want them to see it finished properly.
Mama.
Oh, Mama!
Therese.
What did I get to drink?
Oh, well, what would he like?
Marsala?
Oh, wouldn't a bottle of wine be better? With a few little pastries.
Yeah, talk, for God's sake. What would you say to something sweet in Spanish?
He'll drink anything. He'll eat anything. He's like a pig.
Therese!
Yes, she's taken against him. He's noticed, of course. He mentioned the fact just now. It's most unpleasant. I can't have you upsetting my best friend. What has he done to you?
Nothing. But he's always coming round. Lunch, supper, always getting the biggest helpings. It's lawn, this lawn, that. I hate it. He's not even good company. He just sits there filling his gut like a slug.
Now, be nice to him. He's lonely. He lives in a garret. he eats not and he knows what muck. At least here he gets properly fed. He can sit down, smoke a cigar, put up his feet. It warms my heart to see it.
Feed him, coddle him. I don't mind.
I know. Champagne.
Champagne? Oh, yes. Why not? It'll make it up to him nicely. And a few pastries.
8:30. Our guests will be here at 9. They'll faint with shock when they see champagne on the table.
You'll light the lamp for me, won't you, Therese? I'm going down to the shop.
I knew you'd come back. It's been 8 days. If you hadn't come back now, I'd have done something stupid. I know I would. Why has it been so long? I can't bear it shaking hands with you in front of people. It's horrible.
Let me explain.
What's wrong? Oh, you're afraid of something. How stupid you are. We're safe here. Who'd ever guess?
I'm not afraid.
You are. You're afraid of me. You think I love you too much. You're frightened I'll ruin your life.
Trust me, can't you? I can't sleep for thinking about it. I lie there wondering if I'm going mad. Yes, me, who's always thought that women were things to use. If I'm frightened, it's because you've started something up in me that I can't control, and I don't even recognize. It's as though someone I never even knew existed was inside me. I can't be calm about it. It terrifies me. It isn't natural to love the way I love you. I don't know where it's taking us.
To a long walk in the sun.
Someone on the stairs.
Love me. What's wrong? Love me. If you knew what my life's been like, my miserable childhood, if you knew what it was like to grow up in a smelly sick room, crouching for hours in front of the fire, staring like a fool at a pot full of herb tea, being nagged at, don't move, Camille might wake. I almost lost the power of speech. Camille used to sit up in the bed and giggle at me. That's what a lump I was. But secretly I was strong. I clenched my fists. I wanted to smash everything in sight. They say my mother's Algerian. I know it's true. I can feel her in my blood. I close my eyes and dream of running away, begging for my food like a wild gypsy. Starve if I had to, just so long as I didn't depend on them.
So loud, your aunt will come up.
Well, what if she does? It's her fault. I'm a liar and a hypocrite. She made me. She smothered me, choked me. And I couldn't say no. I didn't know how. I still don't. So I hang my head, lower my eyes, and shuffle around like a nun. That's how I let her push me into marrying him. She took me aside one day and said, you'll love your little cousin. And you'll look after him. So she brought me up to be his nurse, his teammate, his wife. Though I felt nothing for him at all, only pity for his weakness. And when I touch him, my fingers sink into his arms like they're lumps of clay. And on our wedding night, instead of going into my room on the left of the staircase, I went into his on the right. That's all that happened. But you, Laurent.
You love me?
I love you. I loved you since the day he pushed you into the shop, and then later, well, you must have thought I was dirt. He's here on the floor. I don't know how I let you. I hated you for it. And after that, every time he walked into the room, I could feel every nerve in my body twisting with pain. Then I found I wanted that pain again. I wanted to stand so close to you. I breathed your breath. I wanted to walk when my clothes brushed against yours. I wanted to stop where I could feel the heat of your body. I wanted you.
I love you.
All these miserable Thursday evenings with their endless dominoes and their endless boredom. But while they sit around making polite remarks, I put a blank expression in my face. And I summon up my most delicious memories of you and their own.
Someone's moving.
You must go. Shall I see you tomorrow? Sure, you will come.
I can't.
Why not?
They won't let me leave the office. They've seen how often I'm not at my desk. They'll sack me next time.
Well, you're breaking it off with me.
No. Things will change. It'll be better than now. We won't be grabbing an hour in the afternoon. I want to spend the whole night with you. Go to sleep with my arms around you. To wake up kissing you. No, a night's not enough. I want a month, a year. I want a whole lifetime with you. I'll quit my job. I'll take up my painting. God, he can only die.
Oh, he won't die. He's ill too often.
There are accidents.
There are. But they're all good for the survivors.
Man can trip. Tile can blow off a roof. And who's guilty to win?
We'd be married.
How dark it is. All I can see is the gleam in your eyes. Thank God I'm sane enough for us both.
Come tomorrow.
No. We must keep apart. Trust me.
There are accidents.
Still no lamp. You're half asleep. No, stay where you are. It's ready and trimmed. I like it.
Hello? Is anyone there? Why is it so dark?
My
Ah! God, you gave me a fright. You know I don't like funny business in the dark.
I'm not being
Yeah,
funny.
stupid practical jokes. Has done it. Bloody hallucinations all night long. Phantom women trying to put their hands around my throat. Yes, you can
Oh,
laugh.
I'm not laughing.
Therese nearly frightened me to death. I almost dropped the bottle of champagne, all 3 francs worth.
Only 3 francs. Oh, you did well.
We go all the way to the Boulevard Saint-Michel. I'd seen a sign in the grocer's window. It'll be every bit as good as the 8 francs kind. And here are the cakes.
Our guests won't believe their eyes. Therese, dear, can you get 2 plates?
Grivet will be here at 9 on the dot. He's a demon for punctuality. Yeah, flash him a smile from time to time, do you mind? He's only my sub-chief, as yet. He's very well thought of. Hasn't been late once in 20 years, so they tell me.
Michaud is very punctual, too. You remember when he was police inspector at Vernon, how he used to come home for his dinner every night at 8 o'clock? We could set our watches by it.
Yes, but now he's retired to Paris with his niece. He's gone quite dotty. Oh, who cares? Anyway, it's good to have your friends call round. And so predictably... Oh, yes. Before they arrive, I've had an idea.
What?
Well, you know I promised Therese I'd take her to the river at Saint-Wen before the autumn set in. Well, I thought we could go there on Sunday, and Laurent could join us.
Why, yes. I go too, but you know, my legs aren't strong enough. And Laurent has Well, that's a grand idea.
He's like a clown when you get him outside. Remember, Therese, when we went to Suresnes? Incredibly strong and crazy. It was like leaping canals and then chucking huge rocks to great heights. There's this wooden horse at Suresnes. He leapt on top of it, whipped it and spurred it. There was a wedding party there, and something about the way he rode the horse, they laughed and laughed. I thought the bride would faint. Isn't that so, Therese?
Well, he was drunk.
You don't know what fun is. A wonderful time we'd have at San when it was up to you. She sits there staring at the water. It's her idea of enjoying myself. Do you know why I want her on to join us? To cheer me up. I wonder where he's gone to for that frame. Timbuktu?
No.
Oh, that's him. It can't be Grieve, not by 7 minutes.
The frame shop took forever. You're plugging something.
Guess what it is?
You're planning to ask me to dinner tomorrow night, and it's chicken and rice.
Boy!
It's better than that. On Sunday, I am taking Therese to San Wen, and you're coming too. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Now you take care of Camille. You're a big, strong fella. I worry in case he might get hurt.
Oh, Mother, do stop. I can't even walk to the end of the street without you thinking some disaster is going to happen. I am not a little boy anymore. What was the plan? Oh, yes. I thought we'd take a cab to the ramparts, half price only, and then we'll walk the rest of the way to the island, over the bridge, book at the restaurant, trout for dinner. What do you say?
You've left something out.
What?
A boat trip.
Oh, no, don't go on a boat. No, I wouldn't be at all happy if I thought that's what you were doing.
Well, don't worry, Aunt. Camille wouldn't go on a boat. He'd be too scared.
Too scared?
That's right. In Vernon, when we swam, we always stayed and shivered on the bank. Forget the boat.
That's a lie! What do you think I am, a child? Yes, we will hire a boat, and then who's even scared? It'll be Therese, of course.
Oh, please, for
Oh,
my...
Mother, you're making me ill!
I vote Therese decides.
Accidents can happen anywhere.
True. You could walk down the street and your foot might slip, or a tile might drop on your head.
Besides, I love the water.
You win. We'll hire a boat.
Once he gets an idea in his head, there's no stopping. Oh, I'm so afraid.
I'll look after it.
9 o'clock, and enter Monsieur Grieve.
Good evening, ladies. And the rest assembled. I see I'm first.
Good evening, Monsieur Privé. Let me take your umbrella. Has it been raining?
It's threatening to. Oh, not there, not there. You know how I like it. That's it. The opposite corner. Thank you.
And your galoshes?
Oh, I'll dispose of these myself, if I may. There's a method to it. There.
What's the news, Monsieur Grieve?
Well, I left the office at 4:30. I ate at 6 at the Café d'Orléans. I read the paper in the Café Saturnin at 7 o'clock, and seeing as and how it's Thursday, didn't go home to bed at 9. I came round here. Nothing else, I think, of any great import.
Nothing happened on the way?
Why, yes, I'm sorry. Quite a crowd was gathering in the Rue Saint-André-des-Arts.
Oh?
I had to cross over to the other side. Most disturbing. You see, in the mornings, I go to the office on the left-hand side of the road. And then in the evening, coming back by way of variety, I like to
Go on the right-hand side.
No. Let me demonstrate. Mornings, that way. Coming back, that way.
Ah.
Each time on the left, you follow. Just like a railway train, one can't get lost. That way.
Why was there a crowd on the pavement?
I didn't ask.
There must have been an accident.
Oh, very likely. The thought never crossed my mind. An accident? Well, that's a relief.
Oh, here's Monsieur Michaud. Ah, Suzanne.
I believe I'm late. I know. 6 minutes past. You can blame this little creature. Every shop window we passed had to be inspected. Oh, dear Lord, no. My umbrella lives there. You know very well it can't be disturbed. I've left your Malacca a nice space there, on that side. Let's not get worked up about it.
Reeve's struggling not to mention the champagne. He's mesmerized by it.
Uh-huh. Champagne, eh? You'll have us reeling home drunk. And pastries, too.
Champagne, is that what it is? I've only drunk it twice in my life before.
Whose birthday is it?
We're celebrating my son's picture. Laurent has just finished it. Come and look, Monsieur Michaud.
Aren't I distinguished?
It's you. The paint's still wet.
Oh, that's the smell. This, of course, is why so many connoisseurs today prefer the photograph.
Yeah, the paint does dry.
Oh, yes. And I believe the process is a quick one, though they painted a shop in the Rue de la Harpe 5 days ago, and it isn't dry yet.
Do you like it, Monsieur Michaud?
First-rate art.
We have the tea now, Mama. We'll pop the cork after we've had a round of dominoes.
9:10. We'll have to squeeze to get a proper game in.
I'll only be 5 minutes. No, stay where you are, Therese. You're poorly.
Oh, I'm not. Can I help you, Madame RAQUIN?
Oh.
I love mommy games.
No news, Monsieur Michaud.
Oh, nothing untoward. Today, my niece and I proceeded to the Luxembourg Gardens, where she did her sewing. Oh, good Lord, yes. News indeed. There was an incident in the Rue Saint-André-des-Arts.
Rive was passing by and said there was a crowd on the pavement.
Aha! And they were looking upward. Wasn't that so?
I couldn't tell you. I was... What kind of incident?
There was, discovered in the Hotel de Bourgogne, in a trunk appertaining to a traveller who has since disappeared. The body of a woman, cut into 4 parts.
How does one cut a woman into 4?
Oh!
And I walked right past. And yes, they were all looking upward. What did they see?
They were observing the 3rd floor bedroom window, where it was assumed the body was found. But I was told today by a colleague who's still on the force that the room in question is adjacent to the courtyard.
Has the murderer been arrested?
No. Vanished. It's a dismal day for law and order.
Who's the victim?
Identity unknown. The corpse was naked. And the head was nowhere to be found.
No head. 4 pieces. That explains it.
Oh, stop it! Creepy all over. A woman caught up, no head.
It's quite enjoyable to be scared, provided always that one's not at risk. I find Monsieur Michaud's biography, as he relates it, Tales of a Provincial Police Inspector, one might call it, most entertaining. Remember the story of the policeman who was buried in the vegetable patch and whose fingers got mixed up with the baby carrots? He told us that last autumn. Fascinating. Now look at it this way. We don't have murderers in our midst, now do we? This is a godly mansion. If, of course, we were lost in a dark and dangerous forest, then one might be tempted to ask the good Monsieur Michaud not to be quite so frightened.
You're not saying many murders go unpunished, are you?
Oh, but I am. Oh, yes. Disappearances, domestic cases, smotherings, noiseless, bloodless snuffings out. Oh, the law can look as deep as it likes, but if there isn't a clue, oh, there's many a murderer basking in the sun.
And no one arrests them?
No, because they're not suspected.
You mean the police aren't up to it?
The police are a first-class body of men. But they can't perform miracles. Like I said, there's many a murderer walking the streets today, hale and hearty, and living in clover. And there's no use you wagging your head like that.
I'll wag my head if I like, it's my privilege.
You could meet a murderer tomorrow, Grippe.
Oh, yes.
You could shake his hand.
Don't say things like that. It's quite untrue. You know it is. I could tell you a story.
Well, let's hear it then.
And you shall. It's called The Thieving Magpie.
Ah.
All right, you've heard it before, nevertheless. There was a serving girl who was put in prison for stealing some silver knives and forks. Then, a couple of months later, in the course of cutting down a poplar tree, the booty was found in a magpie's nest. The bird had stolen it. and the girl was let off. This is my point, that crime will out.
And did they arrest the magpie?
Arrest a magpie? No, of course not. This man's an idiot.
That's not what Grivet meant. Stop it, you're muddling.
If the police aren't up to it, then it's a public scandal.
What do you make of undetected murder, Laurent? Reckon it's feasible?
Me? I think Mr. Michaud is pulling her leg. Nobody knows about these murders, how does he? Anyway, if there really are such geniuses around, good luck to them. Even your wife doesn't believe it.
I don't. But nobody knows about it. Doesn't exist.
Be that as it may, let's change the subject.
Yes. We haven't brought up the chairs from the shop yet. Help me to carry.
I said change the subject. I didn't say take up furniture removal.
Are you coming, Grivet?
Oh, you go first. Arrest a magpie. And then they cautioned it, I suppose. Really, for an ex-police inspector, you talk amazing nonsense.
Swear you will do as I say.
I'm yours. Do what you want with me.
Laurent! Why aren't you down here helping?
I'm making love to your wife!
That's fine by me. Just make sure you do a good job of it.
What nobody knows about doesn't exist.
Make love to my wife with me. You know, you don't have to go to all that trouble just to get out carrying chairs. She's up.
Oh, yes, I know. 15 minutes, but we'll make up for lost time. Sit yourself down.
I'm in my comfy chair now, Mama. Pass the dominoes.
I love my Thursdays. I wake in the morning and say to myself, good, I'll call on the RAQUIN tonight. We'll all play dominoes. You know, you'd scarcely credit...
Sugar, Monsieur Grivet?
If you would be so kind, young lady. 2 lumps. You know, you'd really scarcely credit...
Aren't you playing, Therese?
Oh, leave her alone. She's feeling poorly. She scarcely plays at the best of times. If there's a customer, she can see to the shop.
Oh, it seems strange to me people not joining in. Oh, Mother, do sit down.
How are you doing?
Comfy, everyone?
I am.
Dominoes at the ready.
This is going to be a bloodbath. I fancy the tea is a spot stronger than it was last Thursday, madame.
Oh?
You were saying, Grivet,
What?
you began a sentence.
A sentence? Are you sure? I don't think so.
Oh, yes, you did. Didn't you, madame? He said you'd scarcely credit.
Scarcely credit. I said nothing of the kind. If that's your idea of a joke, Monsieur Bichot, I don't think much of it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Monsieur Laurent's not playing. He can look, but he mustn't comment. No peeping now.
I'm in luck. The double 6. I start.
Pass the dominoes, Madame RAQUIN.
Sugar, Monsieur Rivet?
If you would be so kind, young lady. 2 lumps.
Dominoes at the ready. Do sit down, Madame RAQUIN. Comfy, everyone?
I am.
I love my Thursdays. No peeping now, no peeping.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Seeing you all around the table, just like old times, it breaks my heart.
Be reasonable, madame.
He was so fond of dominoes. He used to shake the box and tip it out just like that. And if I didn't sit down, he'd snap at me. I'd never snap back. I couldn't. Oh, those lovely evenings. And there's this chair.
Come, old girl. You mustn't let yourself go.
Oh, don't cry. Look, everyone's upset.
Thank you.
Oh, very well. Let's not play. But I wish you wouldn't take this attitude. Crying won't bring him back.
Death comes to us all.
But it's so sad.
We're only here in the hope of taking your mind off things.
You must stop harking back to the past.
Exactly. Oh, Lord, now we're all in the dumps. Let's play. What do we say to a modest flutter? 2 sous again?
Let her recover. We all of us mourn for Camille.
Hear what he said? We mourn for your son. We mourn for him just as much as you do.
You're good people. I'm sorry I spoiled the game.
Say no more. It's most understandable. But a year has gone by now. You think you'd take a more objective view of the matter.
Is it a year? I hadn't counted. The tears just spring to my eyes. I think of him in the water. And then I think how I'd love to wrap him up in a pair of blankets like when he was little. Oh, what a terrible way to die. What he must have gone through. I knew it was wrong. Right from the start, I begged him not to go boating, but he wouldn't listen to me. Oh, you could have seen me taking care of him when he was in his crib. I sat up for 3 weeks once when he had the typhoid.
You still have your niece. Don't make things hard on her or on the friend who tried to rescue her, whose only regret now is that he failed to save Camille. Look at him. He's in tears.
Oh.
It's a painful memory.
You did the best you could. The boat capsized, having collided with a post, erected for the purpose of catching eels. Am I correct?
Yes, and then we all 3 fell into the water.
And you attempted to save the lady first, and you succeeded.
She was sitting next to me. Simply a question of grabbing hold of her clothes. I dived back in, but Camille was nowhere to be seen. He'd been sitting in the bows, trailing his hands. He was in a cheerful mood. He looked at the water, which was thick with mud, and he said, "I don't much feel like a paddle in that."
Let's not get morbid about it. You dived in 3 times, well beyond the call of duty.
Remember the article in the paper the following day? It said Monsieur Laurent deserved a medal. It described the whole scene. The 3 young people struggling in the Seine while their dinner was getting cold in the restaurant. By the end of it, my hair was standing on end. And then they revived the story 8 days later when Camille was found.
It was Laura, was it not, who spotted him in the morgue. Just as she was settling down. You have to be so graphic.
You started it. One has to talk of something since we seem incapable of starting a game of dominoes.
You've told that story 1,000 times. She doesn't want to know about it. You'll have her blubbering there now for the next half hour.
But you started it.
No, it was you.
I think I'm half with
Oh,
you.
please, friends, don't fight about me. I won't cry anymore. It's just that it helps to talk about it, to put it into words. Oh, Laurent, dear boy, I hope you're not too upset.
Only because I failed.
You're like another child to me. I pray for you every night for trying to rescue him. My son's in heaven now, but he hears my prayers. He won't forget you. Every good thing that happens to you, remember, it was me who prayed for it, and Camille who granted it.
My dear Madame Raquin.
That's what I like to see.
Now, back to your place, my puppet. See? I'm smiling again. That's for you.
Thank you.
Now, whose turn is it?
Oh, we're playing, are we? Well, not if you... That's very decent. Who goes first?
I do.
I've got something to tell you. My uncle mustn't hear. It's about my blueprints.
Blueprints?
I call him that because he wears a blue suit. And he's got a lovely big moustache. A sort of gingery colour. Very becoming.
Hey, you passed on 5s. And now you've 5s coming out of your ears.
I did no such thing. I demand an apology.
He gets so carried away. This man, he started coming to the Luxembourg Gardens every afternoon. My uncle had the regular seat, third tree to the left by the paper kiosk. Well, the blueprints took to sitting under the 4th tree. He put a book on his lap, and every time he turned a page, he'd glance up.
That's all.
Yes, that's all that happened there. Oh no. How could I forget? There was a little girl playing with the hoop one day, and she was hitting it really hard, and it came hurtling towards me, and up he jumped and gave it a kick, and it missed me. Oh, he gave me such a lovely smile. It was like those men who save young ladies from runaway horses.
That's the end of the story, is it?
Oh no, that's where it starts. The day before yesterday, my uncle had gone out. Oh, and I was sitting around feeling oh so bored, stuck with that stupid fool of a maid. So, just for fun, I set up that enormous telescope. You know the one, my uncle used to use it for his detective work. You could see for miles and miles. Well, I was looking towards Saint-Sulpice. All those statues.
What's that? A 6? Oh, go on, play it.
Yes, I fully intend to. Luckily, I can count.
And your blueprints?
Wait. I saw chimneys. Oh, such lovely chimneys. I was pretending they were fields and stormy seas. And if I wiggled the telescope a bit, they started marching around all bumping into each other. And then, suddenly, guess who I saw between 2 of the chimneys? Him.
Is he a chimney sweep?
No, he was standing on the flat bit of the roof just like I was. And he had a telescope too. Oh, I knew it was him. I'd know that blue suit anywhere.
You know where he lives?
Oh no, I couldn't tell. And then I accidentally knocked the telescope and had to find the place all over again. Oh, I found a special way of doing it now. I lined it up against the people next door's weather vane.
You've seen him again?
I saw him yesterday. Today. Am I very wicked? tiny and harmless he looks. There's nothing to be afraid of. I'm not even sure that things you can only see in telescopes are real. When he does this, I take my eye away from the glass to look. And then he's gone. And all I can see is grey. And it's as though he never existed.
He sounds perfect. You should keep him just as he is.
Oh no,
Well done.
He's finished.
You and I are the sole survivors, Grieve. On your marks.
Oh, Laurent, dear boy, while you're up, will you get me my knitting bag? It's in my room on the chest of drawers. Here, take the lamp.
I can see without...
Oh, you've a veritable son there.
Oh, he's like one of the family, always lending a hand. He helps me with the shutters when I close the shop at night.
I saw him behind the counter last week, selling needles like a shop girl. Rather a hairy shop girl.
Oh, dear God, what is it?
You will.
Did you walk into something?
It's nothing.
And my knitting bag?
He wasn't there.
You're scared of the dark.
What are you talking about? I looked for the bag. I didn't see it.
I'll go. Yes, me. And if I meet a ghost, I'll introduce myself.
I felt faint for a moment. It's passing.
Circulatory problems, very likely. Too much blood in the wrong place.
You should try some herb tea.
You've been very nervous for some time now. I can't help noticing. Oh, you found it good, girl.
It was there in the chest of drawers. But there wasn't a ghost, Monsieur Laurent. I must have frightened him off.
Brave as a lion, your niece.
Oh, and there's a customer. No, I'll see.
And such a helpful little lion. Shall we say 32 to me, 28 to you?
After all that, it's the wrong wool. I'll go down.
I thought our game was heading for the rocks at one point. I worry about our Thursdays. The atmosphere is not what it was.
How could it be? Once death enters the house, but the joys of yesteryear will return. I'll see to that.
Something frightened you, didn't it?
Yes. Shall I come to you tonight?
Not yet. We have to be careful.
We've been careful for a year now. We haven't touched each other. Leave the little door unlocked. I'll come back in.
No,
She won't hear. We could spend the whole night together.
it isn't time yet.
Then when?
On our wedding night. It won't be long now. Just do as we planned.
Oh, Therese, dear, will you go down? You're needed in the shop.
Yes, sir.
She looks exhausted.
Yes, I notice it every day now. Shaky hands, great rings under her eyes.
Have you noticed the flush in her cheeks? I fear it's consumption.
Yes, you were the first that pointed out to me, dear boy. It's getting worse. Oh, am I to be spared nothing?
Now this is jumping the gun with a vengeance. The girl's hysterical, that's all. She'll get over it.
She's broken-hearted. Long pauses, those pathetic smiles, what are they but silent farewells? It'll be slow but sure.
And why not order the wreath while you're at it? Frankly, my dear boy, if she really is on the point of death, then this kind of talk can only lead to more trouble.
He's right. She's dying of sadness. I can't console her. I can't make her see reason. She finds comfort in her pain, like a wounded animal.
We must resign ourselves.
I've nobody else. I counted on her to close my eyes. I'll have to run the shop all by myself. I'll die curled up in a corner. Oh, how unhappy I am.
I suppose another game is out of the question.
Would you hold your fire? Damn it. Oh, there must be some kind of a cure, eh? Girl of her age can't be totally inconsolable, huh? Tell me, after that business, after that terrible tragedy, did she cry a great deal?
She seemed more exhausted than anything else, as if all the energy had just flowed out of her body. And lately, often, she's very afraid.
Afraid?
Yes, the other night she screamed out in her sleep. I ran to her, but she didn't recognize me. She just lay there talking nonsense.
She said, could you understand it?
Oh, she wanted Camille. I couldn't understand the rest. She can't go up to her bed at night without the lamp. From the minute she gets up in the morning, she's tired. She trails around the apartment, too weary to dress herself, and she looks at me as if she didn't recognize me. I'm losing her. I know it. She's going to join my other poor child.
Now, that concludes my examination. But before I give my findings, I must ask you two gentlemen to adjourn.
You wish to be alone with Madame RAQUIN?
Yes, I do. Very well. We'll leave.
You owe me 2 games, Michaud. I shall be waiting.
What's to be done?
She must get married.
Married? Am I to lose her too?
Oh, God in heaven. I'm not talking about a romantic match. I mean a cure.
She wouldn't countenance it. We've not forgotten my son, she and I. I'm surprised it would be so insensitive. How can she marry again when my son's still alive in her heart? It would be a profanation.
Oh, well, now, if you're going to throw the dictionary at me. But a single woman who's afraid to go up to her bed at night, in need of one thing only, a husband.
Bring a stranger into the house. I won't have the place turned upside down at my age. And what if he turned out to be a scoundrel? We'd lose the little bit of happiness we've got. No, let me die in my widow's weeds.
We'd pick a decent chap, a suitable husband for her, and a son for you. A second Camille, in fact. To cut a long story short, what do you think of Laurent?
Laurent?
They're a perfect pair. Now you take my advice, old girl, and marry them off at once, before she dries up completely.
Those two?
Oh, I knew you'd kick up. I've been thinking about this for months. At least consider it and benefit by my great experience of the world. And if you do this thing and add this happy footnote to your life and save Therese and find her a husband, where could you get a better example than Laurent?
There's nothing like that between them. They're like brother and sister.
You think of yourself, your happiness. Huh? The happy days will return, and you'll have 2 children once again to care for you in your twilight hours.
Oh, don't tempt me. You're right. I'd be glad of the comfort. Oh, but I worry we might be acting wrongly. That Camille would be angry with us for forgetting him.
Who's talking about forgetting him? Laurent never stops talking about him. Camille will still be in the bosom of the family.
That's true. And it's true I'm getting on. My legs aren't what they were. All I want is to die in peace.
Now, have I convinced you? You could be bringing a stranger into the house, you know, if it's not Laurent. But do as I say and you'll be turning a friend into more than a friend. Into a son. We'll see you a grandmother yet. With babies bouncing on your knee. I knew I'd bring the smiles back.
But they'd never agree. The thought won't have crossed their minds.
Well, we've knocked our heads together. They must do it for the good of the household. That's how we put it. Now, I'll tackle Laurent. I'll help him put up the shutters and seize my movement. You talk to Therese. We'll have them engaged this evening.
Oh, I'm shaking.
Here she is now. I'll leave you.
What is it, child? You've not said a word all the evening. Can't you be a little less sad for the sake of our guests? if you're in pain, you should say so. It's not right to suffer in silence, not when there are those around to help you. Are you getting palpitations? Do you have a pain in your chest?
No. It's as though my body's gone numb.
Oh, child, I worry about you so. You're all I have.
I'm saying I should forget the past.
Now, did I say anything of the sort? No. Just wonder if there might be something that could console you. It must be gloomy for you sharing a house with a woman as sad as I am. Do you find this room too large to sleep in? Too lonely, perhaps? Do you want...
I don't want anything.
No, there's a thought coming up. Now, don't take it amiss. I know it's shocking at first. But we were wondering if you might get married again.
Married? Is that what you think of me?
No, I said you hadn't forgotten him. He's still living in her heart. Those were my very words. But they're right. The house is too lonely. People will lose interest in us. They'll stop coming round. You should take their advice.
Never.
Do it, dearest. Marry again. I'm trying to recall what the argument was. It was very convincing. Now I can call Monsieur Michaud back again. He can put it better than I can.
Who would I marry?
Oh, that's all arranged. He's down in the shop this very minute and he's asking Laurent.
Laurent? But I don't love him.
Oh, he's one of the family. He's very kind. He's always running little errands. Oh, I was upset at first, just like you. It didn't seem right. But then I turned it over in my mind and I realized I'd have the two of you. That I could look forward to peace and happiness when my time came. And I'd love to see you smiling again. Will you do it? For my sake.
All my life I've only tried to please you.
Oh, my daughter. Oh, we'll have some warmth and fun between the three of us. Laurent will love us both. I'll be marrying him myself in a way. Now, you let me call on him, won't you? For little jobs around the house. You won't say no to me, will you?
You know I can't.
You're a good girl. Oh, I'm so happy.
He'd do it. Ha! He wouldn't come quietly. I had to use force. He'd be up in a minute. He's just locking the front door. What's the position here?
She agrees. Oh, really, Monsieur Grivet? Is that why you stayed a bachelor? So that your little routines won't be disturbed?
Oh, absolutely.
Horrible man.
All young girls are wedding crazy. I've nearly been caught 5 times. Remember the last one? That rather big woman. Teacher, I think. The banns had been published. Everything was going fine. When suddenly it all came out that she likes to drink coffee for breakfast. Which I loathe. I start my day with chocolate. Have done for 30 years. My whole existence tottered on the brink of chaos. So I broke it off. But that was the right thing to do, wasn't it?
Oh, I think so.
Now, you and I, we understand each other. Compatibility. It's what we saw in these two.
You did well, my friend.
How does the song go? My wedding ring will only fit the girl whose fingers made for it. Good God, 5 to 11.
Monsieur Michaud has spoken to me. I wish to make you happy, dear mother.
Oh, Lord. Oh.
Therese, do you want to make our mother happy?
Yes.
Something I've never told you. When Camille fell into the river, he cried out to me, "Look after my wife." By marrying Therese, I am obeying his dying wish.
1 kiss, then you're engaged.